the play that reared its ugly head again, and it's done it a few times in the year, and certainly because of the stakes in the game, was a higher topic of discussion. Now, the way it worked out, I don't think it really had any impact on the outcome this time around. But the NFL, the fumble out of the back of the end zone or out of the end zone rule, was the topic du jour on Sunday again. And how it is a change of possession. Are you guys fans of the rule? Because I know Kyle and I have had discussions about this on the Twitter, about it. But we'll start with you, Kyle. Where do you stand with the rule?
Well, listen, my ugly was this close to being all the whining and complaining about the rule, but I didn't want to seem like I was going after Jim personally. Here's the thing.
Well, let's start you before.
What's that?
Let's start you before in the past.
Yeah, I'm going to go after him. I'm going to call him a bitch on his show, and I didn't want to do it out there in the Twitterverse, okay? Like, it's meant for everybody's consumption right here on the Huddle Up podcast, okay? If you want to hear me call him a bitch on his show, you better give up the goddamn click, all right? There you go. With all that being said, by the way, Jim, do not make a bitch on my own show mug. That would be too much. Anyways,
oh God,
listen to the chalkboard font like the Student of the Game podcast.
I see what you did there, you merchandising some bitch. Anyways,
That good.
Merchandising.
Here's where it comes to for me. Like, the part about field position being part of the game gets completely left out here. And I'm not surprised. This is the same universe that thinks it's okay to call the tiny people in the game skill players, as if the big guys don't have any fucking skill when they play it. I mean, seriously, to be fat and drunk and to climb out of a damn club seat at the Bills Stadium, one you're not familiar with, by the way, because your brother hasn't played there before. Yes, I'm making a Jason Daniel Kelsey reference, okay? Figure it out. But the punchline is this. Hey, listen, Creed Humphrey, center for the Chiefs last year, said big skill. That's the term we're using.
I like it.
You know, the big skill guys, they get ignored all the time in this league. Why would anybody know what field position is? But field position is important, and it should be this much part of the game. Hey, if you don't want to be the victim of getting the ball fumbled out of the back of the end zone, A, keep the damn ball out of there, maybe, and B, maybe don't fumble the motherfucker. How about that?
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of the rule because it rewards the defense who made the play in that instance. You know, they are the ones that force the ball out. I get, you know, similarly, if it goes out of bounds elsewhere, that's kind of the rule. I also don't agree with that rule either. I think that if the defense forces a fumble in this instance, though, when their goal is to prevent a score and they actually did their job with that, then that should be the reward when they get inside or close enough to that is the case.
If your might was so overwhelming that you made the ball go backwards, there is no negative numbers in football. I mean, I guess technically the end zone is because the end line is 0, but the detail is this. It's about the direction the ball is going when it rolls out of bounds. That's the difference between a touchback and a safety. You sucked that hard, you couldn't keep the ball on the field. You should be punished.
I mean, I personally, I've never been a fan, and I'll give my thoughts on this particular rule. But I've never been a fan that you can advance on a fumble. Like if you like fumbling forward and being able, and it goes out of bounds and advances the ball. I hate that part of it too, because like you didn't do anything to advance. Like you didn't like recover. You didn't advance. So I'm not a fan of that. To me, it should go back to the fumble spot. But I'll give my thoughts on this particular rule in a second. EJ, where do you stand with this?
I thought I've been minority in that rule. I actually agree. I think if you can't score and you can't hold the ball, that's your fucking problem.
After all,
you caught me. I was going to bring a joke on that too. But hey, no, you couldn't score the ball. You cut the ball. You're bad. The rule never bothered me before. And
Brian raises a good point as well.
That's kind of where I'm at with the rule. So he says if you fumble out of bounds on the 5, you spot it on the 5. Fumble out in the end zone, you can't spot the ball. Removing the rule will allow offense to be more reckless with reaching towards the goal line because there would be no punishment. So because that's been kind of the thing, because I've always been on the side of this. And I mean, when people say the dumbest rule in sports, and I've said that phrase as well because I want clicks.
Jim Sports.
Because I want clicks on my Twitter at Big Jim Sports.
Right. Woke Jim.
But no, it's not. It's at Big Jim
He has
Sports.
a lieutenant now. There we go. Anyway,
But the one thing that's always been challenging, Kyle, I know you did the same thing to me earlier this season when this rule came up in a Cowboys game, is you're like, well, what's the solution? And I think that's kind of Ryan's point, is what's the solution? So yeah, I get it. You can't spot the ball. So if you're in offense and you fumble out of the end zone, to me, move it back to the 50, move it back to the previous 20. Like, I punish the team that's on offense. But to me, I guess the part that doesn't connect with the rule. And I understand that you can make the argument the end zone's a different space because reaching the ball to a certain point or whatever, you break the play.
Catches are even different in the end zone, Jim. The end zone is already treated differently. Period. Point blank. End of story.
That's fine. But to me, everybody, you talk about rewarding a defense for, making a play, getting the ball loose. But to me, it almost feels like you're over rewarding a defense because they never completed the turnover. So that's why when it goes out at the 5, you spot it at the 5 because there was no turnover. So that's the part that never connects with me.
It's the field position that you're rewarding at that point, Jim. Now you're taking the special teams reward out of the play. This isn't about just rewarding the defense, Jim. It's about rewarding the special teams. It's about rewarding field position as well. It's two things going on there. The field position was successful so much that you put the offense in a negative situation, right? And the defense over and above caused a turnover. You're not just rewarding the defense. To put it that way is to limit what's going on there.
I'm not sure that I follow the special teams portion.
The field position. If you get punted and pinned deep.
Well, this is the opposite end of the field.
How do you figure?
So you're talking about if they're pinned back almost as if it's a safety. We're talking about other end of the field where they're going in to score.
Don't drop the fucking ball.
That's more what it is.
Like,
I mean, I get if you want.
Let me rephrase. The rule's in there for the reasons I talked about. Okay, because a dude mishandled it. That's just an unfortunate situation. Now, if we're looking into, hey, if a guy's advancing it and reaches it out, I mean, I don't like that either. But that at least is more defensible.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with the ball if you're going backwards the other way, it being a safety. I mean that's the scoring portion of it.
Well, and see, now we're leaving it into the judgment of the officials again, which is always dangerous in my mind because that's gone wrong nowhere else in the NFL. But with all of the above being said, I feel like asking it for this to be this particular, it's obvious if a dude's broken loose 95 yards and he's by himself, and your boy Leon Lett, for example.
Really,
we
got to bring up Leon at this point.
It wasn't a win, though.
But you can listen. Be that as it may, how should that play be treated? Seriously.
I mean, I've gone through many years of counseling. So
we're talking about Leon Lett fumbling, not him recovering the touched kick, right? Which are we talking about here?
Yeah, because where did the ball? I don't even. I mean, truthfully, this was when Big Jim was Little Jim at that point. Leon
Lett was high stepping, right, and he got the ball knocked out.
That's
and
right.
It went out where?
In the end zone.
2-yard line.
Oh, was it the end zone? I forget.
2-yard line.
And so again,
Don Beebe.
And there's one further back too where oh my God, the former Sunday Night Football commentator that was the
Tom Jackson? Oh, no, sorry.
Who the hell did you just say?
I said Tom Jackson second. Tom Jackson. I was thinking Tom Jackson.
Tom Jackson. That's the Broncos, buddy. No,
right. He was a commentator though. He was a commentator.
What the? God,
the Denver Broncos.
I mean, yeah, he was a Booger McFarland caliber commentator.
I know you can't stand him.
You're right. Tom Jackson was in fact there. I'll give you that much credit. Goodness gracious.
Are you talking ESPN or NBC?
Sunday night. This goes to the ESPN days. This is way back.
Joe Theismann.
Theismann, thank you. There was one, and I don't think this was the Cowboys, but Theismann saved a touchdown, quote, by knocking it out of a dude's hands when he's returning it the distance for it. Did eventually go out of bounds in the end zone and save the ball. Like, where's the line? That's my point.
I mean, to my point, for my, if I'm fixing, quote unquote, fixing the rule, the offensive team that fumbles in and out of the end zone going in, again, going out, going back, I understand that's a safety. Like I don't necessarily have that. I don't have a problem with that rule, because if the ball is down in the end zone in any fashion, like that way by you, then that's a safety there. For me, it's the fumble into the end zone. Like I said, move the ball back to the team's own 30-yard line, to their own 20s. They got to go 70, 80 yards the other direction. Like, and maybe,
but then you're
maybe
leaving
that's
the
not the best solution, because the defense
on the
tired,
field
right?
that did their job. Yeah.
I don't know. The part for me that doesn't compute with it is the fact that they didn't complete the turnover. Like, and I just, and maybe it hasn't, and maybe it never will. I don't know. It will connect in my brain to go, end zone different, ball out of end zone results in, like that, all you did as the defense was get a ball loose. You didn't finish the play.
Neither did the offensive player. Like, I mean, so
again, to me, everywhere else, not completing the play is you keep the possession.
But you keep the onus of not completing the play on the defense there. What about the goddamn offense in the first place? They didn't complete a damn thing either. Let's be clear about that. Hey,
okay, so if an offense fumbles and it goes out at the 5, should the defense get the ball at the 5 then? If the onus isn't on the defense to complete the turnover?
I'm not sure what you mean exactly.
Because you said, like, the part for my scenario is putting the responsibility on the defense to complete the turnover to get the ball.
But the defense, the responsibility should never be on the defense. What's the term that's always said, Jim? Protect the football. That's how it's known.
Right.
Why? Yeah.
So and that's why to the point then is, if anywhere on the field, if an offense fumbles the ball and it goes out of bounds, should it then be a turnover? Is that the fix of the rule?
Well, and then again, I think, like I said, I think it's fine where it's at. The offense, the ball going out where it is bothers me less. But again, the end zone needs to feel like hollowed ground. Just like in football, you don't kick, you don't touch the goalie. In basketball, once a ball's coming down, you don't mess with it. That's goaltending, right? There's certain instances where the rules do change. So I'll say this, and by the way, I get the injustice or what doesn't compute in your head, where I will also flip this on its head too as well, is tell me the protocol in the rule book that should determine when this exception gets triggered. That's, in my opinion, is the real tough part.
Well, what do you mean?
What determines that a ball carrier is somebody who's advanced the ball this far and has then fumbled it at the last minute into the end zone? What triggers that? How do you write that in the book? And granted, I don't expect you to have that answer immediately. And maybe you're that good a host and you do. I don't know, but
yeah, no, that I think is a complicated part of the question.
And I think
I think they have the end zone the way they did. I mean, they used to always have random rules about the end zone. It used to be they would say that the end zone goes from around the world and you can dive from wherever and extend the ball, and they edited that. So I think that there could be an alteration made. I just don't know what the fix is at this point, so they have to leave it how it is.
Moreover, I'll even add to Matt's point. The alterations in the rules have been made with the end zone. It used to be that an incomplete fucking pass was a turnover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
we're already in that improved world. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's and I mean I saw there was reports Sunday night that the competition committee in the NFL is exploring making changes to the rule. It happened to the beloved Chiefs, so we know how things with the Chiefs and Bills in playoff games result in rule changes. So
Bills
Beloved
got
Chiefs.
ruled out with the removal of the sudden death there, Jim, because Tom Brady benefited from that shit against the Chiefs.
well, I mean it was a Bills Chiefs game, as I clearly stated. So
Just making sure we're checking on that.
yeah, I mean that's what I mean.
Clearly,
That's what
clearly stated.
I said. Clearly stated.
Your boy sucks, EJ. That's what I'm saying.
Did you see the report that he was reportedly contacted about possibly joining the 49ers this year? I wish that would have happened. Anyway, let's
Heard me bitching the whole time.